Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a question, but also accompanied with a little comment. This is to you, Claudia, and I want to thank you for the deep dive into the comparison between reparation and the move to attract investment. It's a long-running debate in terms of masking the truth of the experience, always making it look like it's the global north being even more charitable than we know they haven't been so far. But do you think that this movement has any hope of achieving the set results without the active coming together and cooperating between the Caribbean and the African leadership on the continent? And if so, or if that's not happening enough, what can be done to promote trading between both sides? For example, how can we deploy incentives to encourage trade flows between the Caribbean and Africa even more? Recently, the Nigerian president has come back from St. Lucia, I think it was, and it was a very, very groundbreaking move, and right on the back of that, so much is now happening. How do you think this could be incentivized to make it happen? Thank you. And then to next slide, please. Thank you for the example that you just showed in terms of how we're moving more into value addition at home. I was actually known, but I was quite pleased with what I heard. Can I suggest that you sort of up the tempo a little bit with dissemination? There's no point doing these great things and your neighbor doesn't know what's going on. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so that's quite. Okay, go for it, please. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for that question. An important question. How can we, as African and Caribbean nations, work together? And to some extent, that is the story of the Global South. How do we build unity and togetherness and build on that which we have in terms of our resources? We have a wealth of resources both in the African continent and in the Caribbean, natural resources at that. And I think that journey towards collaboration, partnership, and togetherness, to some extent, has begun. With symbolic presentations by people like Mia Motley, the president of Barbados, and indeed with the African Union, opening as well and engaging in collaborations. The issue of lack of engagement will be one of politics, will be one of our governments, and will be one of whether our governments are ready. We've heard that the Nigerian government is open towards the notion of ensuring that processing happens locally. That is not in a situation like, for example, the Democratic Republic of Congo, where it holds the greatest asset in terms of its raw mineral, and yet that is shipped out and processed elsewhere. That needs to change, as does our politics needs to change. Our political leaders and our government leaders and our governments indeed operate on the colonial system. And we have to wake up to that, because that means that they are operating on a ancient model now. They are part of the neo-colonialism nightmare, the last stage of imperialism that we are witnessing. And therefore, we're going to have to look to leadership and leadership change in order to generate the greater partnerships and unity that we need. Now, of course, I would say that as a politician, but it's important that if we want the continent of Africa to be the Africa we want to see, then we do need the grown-up politics in the room. We do need challenge, and we do need our 54 nations to understand the wealth that they hold and understand the geopolitical dynamics that are going on in the world today, and that situation shouldn't shift, for example, from American domination of Africa to Chinese domination of Africa. And that we need to look to the Caribbean. So we need to look east or west, as Promo would say. We look forward. And we look forward to the Global South and how we can collaborate and bring Africa and Caribbean together.
Awesome.
Great question.
Awesome. Kachi, can you remind?
I think I remind, top on what he said.
Okay.
We actually do a lot of promo in what we do, but because we're a wholesale bank, we actually are not on your daily, reports, papers or information platforms. But like you said, I'll take it back home to see how we can have more engagements and deal with more Nigerians to inform them on what we're doing and what the opportunities are.
Thank you.